Hey guys, what's going on? This video is actually part of a collaboration I did for
Rewind Mike! Rewind Mike! Rewind Mike!
He's doing a Konami retrospective video on all their NES games, so I'll put some links in the description if you want to go check out that. I did 2 little reviews for one of his episodes. So I'm just going to release this one on its own though, and in the future I might start doing these little quickie reviews. I'm going to call them, I don't know, Dickies. Let's call them Dickies. So there will be 2 pilot episodes of Dickies, because I actually did another short review for another collaboration for Joe Goes Retro, which isn't out yet. So I'll probably put that out as another pilot episode to these Dickies. But so yeah, in the future, if people like these, maybe I'll just do some quick, shorter reviews, you know, under 5-minute type reviews without too much bullshit. But yeah, all right. TMNT from 1989 is another Konami game released in Japan as Gekakami Ninja Den. While we all knew TMNT in the States, this was the very first content featuring the heroes in the half shell to reach Japan. Outside of Japan, it was another game released under Konami's Ultra subsidiary. The game is often a loved or hated game, often remembered for its difficulty, which reaches an apex at and especially after the JFK airport level. Here you must hunt down the Technodrome, which is in one of 4 random spots depending on when you hit the start button at the start of the game. There's always a more likely chance though that it will be in the lower left corner if you make it this far in the game. The game only has a couple of continues if all your turtles die, but there's some spots where they can be rescued, but it gets a bit risky to go and save them, and it's usually off the beaten path, especially in the latter half of the game. Still, not having extra lives, this game does have a cool teamwork implication that fits the turtles well, where you're able to switch turtles on the fly. Raphael is often considered the worst, but players can get good with him, especially if they stop being pussies. He's actually fast and has good spin time on his weapon. I've gotten as far as Mecha Turtle at the end of level 3 using just him exclusively, and I know people have gotten much further when there was a challenge to see how far you could get using just him a year or so ago. Regardless, all the turtles have their unique advantages, except Mike. Fuck Mike. He's actually the worst turtle, but you're gonna need all the help you can get through this. The game is a mixed genre game similar to Legend of Zelda 2 with overworld exploration and side-scrolling levels, but in reality it's similar to a Konami game which we sadly didn't get in the US called Getsufumaden, which used the same game engine sound effects and had similar jumps and Leonardo sort of attacks and some of the same similar enemies and characters. Again, in Japan the turtles weren't established at all, and I think as a result only the boss characters represented the TV show, and that's often a criticism by people who do not like this game, even though it's arguably the best TMNT game on the system by people who have a pair and can get over themselves. The fact of the matter is the show hadn't had very many established characters yet, as it was still 1989, and Konami used the comics a lot more as a reference, which were more based in sci-fi than the cartoon, which eventually later really became about how can we make new characters this week to make a new toy. The boss on Wall Street that's an evil turtle then exposed to be a robot actually precedes characters like Slash and Evil Turtle and even Mecha Turtle, and by some people this character in this game is actually thought as an inspiration for them, but who knows. Now it's not a perfect game without flaws, but there's not a lot of games on the NES without flaws. My only bitch is the game is pretty unforgiving, and that's the risk with these old NES games. You need to learn to control the characters, the 3 jump heights, or you're gonna have a bad time. I also hate that the turtles can't swim, but then there's a whole level underwater, but then again, that's a high current situation, so I'm sure it's just too much for them to swim through.
Remember, we're turtles! We're at home under the water! Just keep telling me that!
So never mind, there's not very many flaws here. Some people say the dam is too damn hard. I think these people are bitches and really have no business playing NES, like at all. The music is awesome and some of the most memorable on the system. The graphics are actually fantastic for the time, and the game had unique gameplay. It's worth learning to clip through ladders and learn a few exploits. Know how to manipulate random enemy spawns in your favor.
Fuck you! You're cool!
And remember to farm pizza if you need to, as it's pretty scarce. Some people depend on the scroll weapon and farm it.
I got the scroll weapon, and I almost beat Mecha Turtle at the end of level 3.
But they aren't necessarily needed. Again, it's a love it or hate it game for most depending on how much of a bitch you are, but it's funny, after being a popular title in Europe, it actually led this game to be a pack-in game for the NES and PAL territories, which is kinda crazy to think about, as it's hard to imagine a Mario title not being a pack-in game. Of course they're known as Hero Turtles over there, as I guess they're racist against ninjas in Europe, or just big pussies, I don't know. But I'm going on way too long and Rewind Mike is getting pissed, so I'm gonna stop talking now. Shredder's a bitch, he's super easy. This item in the last level is kick-ass. Okay, definitely play this one, 8 out of 10. It's the best Turtles game on the NES unless you like repetitive beat-em-ups like the second game. It's just so fucking easy. Just jump special your way through the whole game and maybe jump kick spam a few bosses. The third's too goddamn long and you can special your way through the whole goddamn game if you want to make things easy.
Now I'm gonna sit here and drill this wall for a minute. See if I can get a drink while I'm doing it.
And can avoid being hit. Sure, those games have co-op on their side and can be fun, but dude, you don't actually play with people in the same room anymore, so stop making that as an excuse or a reason that these games are so good. TMNT 1 is the best if you value teamwork even by yourself. I actually like Turtles 1.